Because every time you bring your feelings to business, you are that further from being successful in terms of business. They don't go together. It's gas and water. They don't go together. Oil and water, they don't go together. Don't mix the two. When I was a young kid, my mom wouldn't buy me certain things. And my boys had what they call stone-washed jeans. My boys had the stone-wash. My mom wouldn't let me get the stone-wash, so I was like, I'm gonna make my own stone-wash. I had some dark Levi's. About to make my own stone-wash. I put some bleach in the water, and boom, put my jeans there. Then I threw a little ammonia in that joker. Boof. The jeans came out fire, but I almost died in the process. I'm just being real. I didn't know. My boys like, your mom won't, don't worry about it. Bleach them ammonia, boom. I literally remember falling back and just, you couldn't even really see it, but you could smell it. I was like, man, that's what happens when you mix feelings and business. Boom. Every time you do it, just know that's gonna happen. Feelings, boom. It's a business transaction. I feel, boof. When you go into business, go in with clarity. Know what you want, say what you want. Don't beat around the bush. That's number one. Y'all got that? I just want to make sure we clear. I'm showing y'all as I'm watching Dan Gilbert, as I'm watching him in the meetings, as I'm watching him do the training. Here's what's crazy. Carl, I don't know if you remember this, and you can somebody get Carl a mic, because he might be able to bring a perspective that I can't bring. But every year, 2-3 times a year, I would take my whole staff and we would go to Dan Gilbert's training. Watch this, guys. Watch what Dan Gilbert did. I've never seen this before. Normally when somebody hires you, what's the first thing you do after you get hired? And I'm not trying to be deep. Normally when somebody hires you, do what? Orientation. Then after orientation, what? Okay, training, and then what? Somebody show you around, then what? You do your job. Now, from the time they hire you and you do your job, let's be real, how many days is that? A day. You ain't doing no 30-day training, right? Watch this. With Dan Gilbert, is the opposite. When he'd hire you, he'd bring you to a conference first. Like this. Imagine that. You get hired day one, you coming to this right here for multiple days. This is what you're doing. Food everywhere. They giving out bags the whole nine. Unbelievable. And so the first week, he tells you who they are. Once you find out who they are, if you don't fit, you get to go home. He doesn't do it the opposite. You don't figure out what your job is first, then figure out the business. You learn everything about the culture and the company's culture and who they are from the CEO and his right-hand man. And after that week, if you don't like it, you get to go home. It's the opposite with most companies. We don't communicate the culture. We end up getting fired because we don't really know what we're supposed to be doing. I love it. Guess what? The number one reason Dan Gilbert would fire people is because they didn't answer a call in 24 hours. That was his biggest pet peeve. It took you what? 30 hours, you're fired. And people would do what when they found out they were getting fired because they didn't answer a call in 24 hours? Now, some people was tripping, like, how you gonna fire me because I ain't answered the call? Because I told you the first week, I told you that was a part of it. You knew. I was very clear on what my expectations were. You didn't do what I said, you fired. And guess what? You can't sue him, you can't say nothing. Why? Because the first 7 days, he made everything clear. He told you exactly what you need to do and how you need to do it. Most of us go wrong because we don't communicate with clarity. People don't know what they're supposed to be doing, what they're supposed to be doing. But once you tell them what they're supposed to be doing, it's over after that. It's a wrap. Once you know, I'm holding you accountable. Once you sign your name, clear communication. Can't hold people accountable for something they don't know. And many of us are not successful because we're not, like, you going straight into business when you're doing business. You're going straight into business. You put people straight to work. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing. They don't know what you believe. They don't know what's important to you. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So I want you to put down communication, scale to 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. Like, I communicate super effectively. Now that you know what you know, what number would you give yourself? And then write down the 3 things you need to change immediately when you leave as it relates to communicating. We're gonna get to the bag, y'all. We ain't here to inspire nobody. We're gonna get to the bag. The bag is totally different now for me. The bag is different. And listen to me, you only need to figure this out one time, and when you figure it out one time, you got it for the rest of your life. I never have to worry about speaking another day in my life. never have to worry about speaking another day in my life. There are probably about 40,000 gigs a year. I'm going to get at least 1,000 calls from those 40,000. It's not going to change for me. I'd have to do something terribly crazy. I know what they want. I know how to give it to them. I communicate way more effectively now. And guess what? If I can't do it, I pay somebody to do it for me, so they can make sure they get what they want. And then when I deliver, I give you exactly what you want. I exceed your expectations. Beautiful. Good. Somebody tell me, if you didn't give yourself a 10, somebody who didn't give themselves a 10, you gave yourself a 4 or 5. Where are you? 4 or 5. Good. Give me the 3 things you said you need to do differently. Good. More direct and clear. Good. So also what I want you to do now is I want you to identify why you weren't doing it before. Why weren't you doing it before? Because I don't want you just to be like writing something down. I told you why I wasn't communicating effectively before. Because for 5 years of my life, I dreaded asking my mom, was that my real father? You feel me? That makes sense, LaShawna? I dreaded asking her, and on the 5th year that I asked her, and she told me, no, that is not your real father. Imagine now how I feel about having real conversations with people. The most important conversation I can have in my life turned very ugly, quick. And so after that conversation with my mom, I always felt funny about having serious, real conversations. Does that make sense? Ask yourself, why you have a problem being direct? Right? And I always remember when me and my mom would be direct, where that would end up. Like it would end up in the blow up. So I was like, all right, cool. I don't even feel like I ain't mad at my mom, but I don't want to deal with that. So let me just, since we can't communicate like I'm trying to talk, you trying to, and we can't, I'm like, I'm out, mom. Like, nah, I don't like you, but I just don't want to do that. So I'm just out so that we don't have to do that. Because I don't know how we going to do this and not do that. So if we can't, I just gotta, because I don't want to do that. So I want you to be real on why you can't be direct. Why? Because the next time it happens, you're not going to be able to be direct if you can't get to the root of it. So how old are you? 28. So there's a reason why for 28 years you ain't really been direct. You feel me? All right, so now I want you to be like, this is why I wasn't, and we're going to go to the next level. All right, yeah. Now remember what I said, though. If you, leave the mic right there for me, Ray. Remember what I told you. If you don't respect something, you can't do what? If you don't respect it, you're not going to be able to do what? Anybody can answer that. The stuff that we have respect for, how do we treat it? Good. When we don't respect it, we don't what? So what happens is you see assertive in a bad way. I want to make sure you're catching this. I want to help you. You're not being assertive because you're a bad person. You're not being assertive because you're afraid to be assertive. You are not assertive because the person that you love the most was assertive with you in a way that rubbed you the wrong way. So when you look at assertiveness, you always see it from your mom. And because you didn't like it when your mom did it, you don't want to do nobody else like that because you feel like if you talk to them the way your mama talked to you, that they're going to feel the way you felt when your mama talked to you like that. Does that make sense? So what you have to understand is we have to now replace the evil way we saw assertive and see assertive in a good way now. We got to change our paradigm. I'm talking about maxing out. Listen to me, y'all. I don't play basketball, but if you watch my videos and you watch me, I will not walk out of life. I'm going to crawl out of life. When I die, I promise you, when I die, I won't have no energy left. Every practice, I don't want no energy left. Why? Because those other girls you playing, they young, and they're going to burn out by the second half because they're young. And what you're going to do is you're going to beat them with endurance. This is what I love about life. When you look at all the other motivational speakers, I remember looking at them and I was like, ooh, they're ahead of me, but I can get them. Why? Because they ain't been homeless. I have an advantage when you homeless and eating out of trash cans. I flew first class today, right? It was so funny. I flew first class, and I guess it's a small flight, so when they served our meal, it was like a real turkey sandwich. You could see other people looking like, I'm flying first class. It's wheat bread. I saw them too. I saw them, they was looking like, it's wheat bread with cheese. It's not warm. It was like I'm talking about like a middle school lunch that your mama would send you with a little small bag of chips. I murdered it. I was like, whoa, turkey. It was so much turkey, it was a cold cut. took most of the turkey out, Lee, and just kept that much in there. I'm like, it's too much turkey. They looking like, how dare them serve me this? This is first class. I was hungry, like, let's go. I didn't eat like this when I was homeless. I didn't know when my next meal would come. Some of you, your problem is you can't deal with adversity. You look at adversity as something negative when it's not. Adversity is the best thing that ever happened to you. Why? Because when adversity happens, most people gonna quit. Listen, we're going into the fourth quarter. I'm working harder now than I worked in January, than I worked in May. I'm about to put it on now. Why? Because most of the people who do what I do, they about to get tired. My son is 23. Lee, I promise you, we had a layover, went to my mama's house. He slept the whole time. He woke up and said, Dad, I don't know how you do it. I went and worked out, did the hit boy, walked with my mom for 3 or 4 miles with my niece, talked to my mom, got on the plane, got off, boom, did a presentation. They was like fire pit. They was like, best presentation you did all this year. I can't wait till the fourth quarter. I can't wait till the second half, because that's when talent goes away. All your talent gone with 5 minutes left, your legs about to give out. So who wins? Only the person that can go through adversity, that's when you start winning. So that's why you need to practice till you burn out. So when you get on the court, you'll never burn out, and they gonna burn out. They gonna burn out, I'm telling you. If you see it, it's like the game goes up and down and up and down. And the last 4, y'all gotta go watch Michael Jordan when y'all get a chance. He would always take a break at about maybe 10 minutes. He'd come back with 6 minutes left in the game, and Mike would come in those last 5, 6 minutes, he would kill you. He would kill you because he has so much energy and so much tenacity and so much strength. And listen to me, I noticed the Michael Jordan, and I'm old, so I don't believe in the Michael Jordan, LeBron comparison. And let me tell you why I don't believe in it. It has nothing to do with offense, because the way Mike played offense, he shut you down on defense. That's the difference. Mike didn't play one way. Mike wanted it so bad that he would put up 30 and he would stop his guy from scoring 0. That's the difference. He played both ways. How do you play both ways when you're not playing talent no more? You're not playing with talent. At that point, you done dug deep within. Okay, I wasn't even supposed to say this, right? But I gotta be honest, I'm gonna give y'all one more. I shouldn't say this until I come back halfway through the season. Do you understand the reason why I beat most humans at what I do is because the last 10% is the hardest percent? That's the hardest percent, ladies. The last 5 minutes of game, that's the hard. Let me tell you what I mean by that. While the first 10% is difficult to get started, once you get started, it's something that's called momentum. The challenge with the last 10% of what you do, which makes it hard, is because it's the last and you done spent all your energy. That's why the last 10% is the hardest. And you know what I focus on? I focus on the last 10%. And you know what everybody else focus on? They focus on that 90%. So I need y'all to do me a favor. I'm gonna need y'all to go to Coach and say, Coach, you're not being hard enough, Coach. We need a little bit more adversity. We need a little bit more adversity, Coach. Coach, you're being soft in practice. I know we girls and you think we can't take it, Coach. I know what it is, Coach. We need you to bring it home, Coach. We need a little bit more adversity. Why? How many women in the room love diamonds? Let me see your hand. You love diamonds. Good, good. And people spend a lot of money for them, right? Listen to me very closely. If you want to be a diamond, ladies, I'm not really into them like that, but if you want to be a diamond, the first thing they do is put it under the most excruciating heat that you can put it under. It goes through heat first, immense heat. After the heat, now I thought that was enough. You take the coal, you put it under heat, and when all that stuff come off, whatever's left is the stone. That's not a diamond though, it's just the stone. So when you go under heat and you feel like Coach can put you under some heat, that's just the, look, sweetheart, that's just the beginning. Heat is just the beginning of the process. So after the heat, when they want to form it, then they put it under pressure to form it. And then after that, it still ain't a diamond. They have to do what to it? You gotta cut it. So the diamond that you see, there's no 2 diamonds alike, because when they cut it, each stone reacts different to it. I'm trying to tell you, you want to be a diamond, but you don't want to get cut. You want to be a diamond, you want to win a national title. You want to be a diamond, but you don't want to go through no pressure. You want to be a diamond, but you don't want to go through no heat. And I'm telling you, the best thing that ever happened in my life was homelessness. Why? Because when I took that PhD and that professor, oh man, my mom got so mad
That professor told me, coach, you don't write well enough. You're not a critical thinker. You don't think well enough to be able to get past this dissertation. Knew exactly what she meant. She meant I had an IQ. But I had to explain to her, boo, IQ ain't the only way you succeed in life. I got that GQ. I got that GQ. And I ain't talking about being fine. I got that GQ. I got that grit. And so you know what I did when she told me that? I went to the library, y'all, and I read over 40 different dissertations until I found the one that looked like something I could write. I went to the library and was like, yep, she right, I ain't got the IQ, but they do have dissertations for free in the library. So we about to go to the library, spend a month here, and I found one like, I could do that. And I went home and I stripped it from top to bottom, kept reading and reading and reading, and I saw what it was, and I said, I got it, and it took me 4 weeks. Some people could do it in 24 hours, turn the paper in it, 4 weeks and 6 weeks, and I would turn it in early. She would give it back with red, and I'd give it back, and she'd give it back with purple, and I'd give it to her, and she'd give it back with orange.